Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to do another recommendations video, and this time it's going to be He Falls First romances. Before I get started, I'm filming over here again because this weather, you would think it's fall here in the Netherlands because it's gloomy, it's raining, even though it's almost summer, so that's kind of sucky. So I just learned that the black bookshelves, if the weather is gloomy, is just not a good place to film. Also, look at my shirt. Can you see that? This is my favorite thing ever. Like, I saw this and I had to take him home. Look at that! Oh my god! Pika pika! Sleepy sleepy! Oh my god, adorbs. So this thing I love more than anything in the world. I just am so obsessed with this shirt. So I got it at Uniqlo if any of you want to get it. It's so cute. Anyway, enough rambling, let's get started. So obviously He Falls First romances is pretty prevalent in romances since, you know, most of romances are catered towards, female readers. So it would make sense, that the guy usually falls first. I did try and pick some books that I haven't recommended in a while or rarely recommend. So hopefully you can find a romance in here that you have not read yet. Usually I split these recommendations videos up in different categories, but most of these really are contemporary romance. I think I have one fantasy romance and one dark romance, and actually one Christmas romance, but I feel like that Christmas romance you can read any time of year, so I really want you to see my Pikachu shirt. Should I, let me adjust this a little bit. Okay. So hopefully you can find some good recommendations in here. So the first book I really want to talk about is King of Sloth, which of course you cannot see. These covers, while beautiful, the camera doesn't really pick them up, so I'll have a picture here or here, we'll see. So King of Sloth is the fourth book in the Kings of Sin series by Anna Huang, and you can really, this is a series of interconnected standalones, you can really read them in any order. So this book, you follow Xavier and Sloane, and Sloane is Xavier's publicist, and Xavier, he comes from money, his father is very rich. He has kind of been, for reasons, he has been doing the typical bad boy, rich guy behavior. So Sloane has had to work on him a lot to try and help his image and stuff like that. And now his father died, and his father left in his will that if Xavier, the only way Xavier can inherit $7 billion is if he becomes a CEO of something. One of the people on the board to decide if he can inherit is actually Sloane. Also Dante from King of Wrath, so of course I love seeing him. So this book, you have seen Xavier and Sloane in the earlier books. You've seen him pay attention and her not taking him seriously, considering he's a playboy, but he really has strong feelings for her. He definitely falls first. So this book, he wants her to see him as something different. So he kind of coerces her to come with him to Spain. And she thinks, we're gonna go to Spain. He's gonna just party all the time. But really he is there to prove her wrong about him. And they also kind of work together to make him CEO of something. And that's kind of how their relationship develops. Like I said, in the beginning, Sloane, but also kind of the reader thinks, I don't know. Obviously, we know that it's going to be their romance, but in the beginning, it's not that clear that he actually has fallen for her. But in this book, it is clear that he definitely fell for her. He fell fast. He fell hard. So definitely a He Falls First romance. Also, what I wanted to say with the He Falls First, some of these are actually pining heroes. So when I say they fell fast, I mean they fell fast years ago. And one of those heroes is Ford from Wild Love. So this is the first book in her Rose Hill series, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure if you're on Instagram, you already know, but this series got picked up for a TV show. So that's very exciting. So very excited to see if that's gonna happen and who they're gonna cast for that. So Ford is the son of this famous musician, but he always spent his summers in Rose Hill, and his best friend is there. What's his name? Oh my god, he's one of my favorites. West is there, but also a woman Ford has loved ever since he was a teenager is also there, Rosie. So Ford has been visiting Rose Hill every summer basically, and now he has become a billionaire. He actually set up this Spotify type thing that earned him a lot of money, but now he wants a quieter life. He feels like too many people have betrayed him, so he wants to go to a place that he felt most at home, which is Rose Hill, and he wants to set up a recording studio there and to have artists actually record there without big labels interfering. So that's what he's doing. And Rosie has kind of left Rose Hill to go to live her big city dreams, but she decides to return when at her job her boss touches her inappropriately, and then if that's not enough, ends up firing her. So she's back. She knows Ford is back, so she decides to ask him for a job, and he of course cannot deny her because he has been in love with Rosie ever since he was a teenager. Definitely a pining hero, but definitely a he falls first romance. Like, it was clear from the beginning how much he loved her. And yes, even though she was kind of intrigued by him, and when she reads her journals from back then, she realizes maybe she also had some feelings, but he's definitely the one who falls first for sure. Even in present time, he knows how he feels about her. It's her that kind of needs to see him in a different way. So I really love this book. It's not necessarily my favorite in the series, but it's a solid romance from Elsie Silver, and definitely a he falls first pining hero. Then another first book in a series that I rarely recommend. I would say it's my least favorite in the series, but I still gave it 4 stars, and I would still highly, highly recommend it. It's Mile High by Liz Tom40. I usually tend to recommend The Right Move, which is the second book, or Caught Up, which is the third book. But this one, I felt like, okay, let's just recommend this because this is also for sure a he falls first romance. So this is a hockey romance, and you follow Xanders and Stevie. And Stevie is a flight attendant for this hockey team. And when she gets the job, it is made very clear that there is a no fraternization policy. Like, she's not allowed to have a romantic relationship with one of the hockey players. And Xanders immediately becomes very intrigued by Stevie. And one of the things that makes him so intrigued is that she doesn't pay him any mind whatsoever. And the reason which he doesn't know is that she's not impressed by this famous hockey player because her twin brother, Ryan, is actually a very famous basketball player. So, like, these athletes, they don't impress her much. That don't impress me much. She just lets him flirt with her, and she wants to do her job and doesn't want to get in trouble. But eventually he does win her over. Like I said, it's very, even though he is attractive to her, she is not looking at him in that way. And he for sure from the very beginning is very intrigued by her and really wants her. I related to this book. I mostly related to Stevie because she has kind of body issues. She is a little bit like, she is like fatter, I guess. And one thing I very much related to was the fact that her mother constantly kept commenting on that. And I have had something very similar happen to me. As much as I love my mom, she knows this. She made some mistakes in the past, especially regarding my weight and my insecurities regarding that. That is something I very, very, very much related to. And the fact, I just loved how he reassured her and how he constantly put her at ease. And even though he acknowledged her insecurities, the fact that he could lessen them for her in ways, I just really loved it. And I would understand, like, especially if you have body, like if you're insecure about your body and then you're dating a professional athlete whose job is to have like to train all the time. I would think, like, I could understand that would heighten an insecurity you already have. So I really love the fact, like, I really loved how that was portrayed in here. And I just loved how much he loved her and how fast and how hard he fell for her, and that he was unapologetic about it. He, like, from the first off, he knew he wanted her, and he went, like, he methodically pursued her, which I really loved reading. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Really, I would have to say almost every Ali Hazelwood has definitely a hero that is he falls first kind of hero. But this one is definitely my favorite by her. You follow Elsie and Jack. And Elsie is a theoretical physicist, and Jack is a experimental physicist. And those two types of physics have been at kind of a war for a while. And that war kind of got accelerated when Jack, when he was very young, wrote a article that cost Elsie's mentor's career, basically. And since Elsie is a adjunct professor, that apparently doesn't pay very well, so she is a fake girlfriend on the side to earn some extra money, and one of the people she's a fake girlfriend for is Jack's brother. So she has been around Jack for a while, and she thinks that Jack hates her and that he just doesn't like her. What she doesn't know, however, is that he really loves her, and he just hates the fact that she's with his brother, even though he is obsessed with her. You know, but she doesn't really think too much about it until she applies for this job that gets her more money. And who should be in charge of deciding who could get that job but Jack? And because of that, he thinks that she's a liar and an actress.
You are a liar, actress.
He thinks, you know, you've been lying to my brother this whole time. You said you were a librarian and now you're like a physicist. So that kind of puts them at odds. And eventually she does explain. But of course, there's this bigger problem with him being the one that kind of ruined her mentor's career. They have to come to terms with that. What I really loved about this book is how normal it was. Yes, I just like the next romance, girly love, these unhinged heroes, these over-the-top heroes that would do anything and everything for their heroine. But every once in a while, I really like reading a romance where I'm like, you know what? I could be Elsie and I could have a Jack and we could just spend the weekend together on the couch, just hanging out. So I really love the fact that that was the case in this book. Ali Hazelwood definitely does Pining Hero very well. So she did a good job with this one. This was one of my favorite books I read in 2023, right? Yeah, so yeah, I would highly recommend it. This is definitely my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. Next is a more spicier one. It's The Frat Boy by Nikki Sloan. This is a college romance about Colin and Madison, I think. Madison, yeah. So in the beginning of the book, he's in a fraternity, she's in a sorority, and every year the fraternities and sororities have these like competition where they have to compete against each other. That's what a competition is, duh. The sun decided to come out and play, so let me turn the, anyway, whatever, moving on. So she, during the competition, now I am all dark. I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry. So during the competition, she accuses one of the fraternity brothers of cheating, and that kind of results in a giant mud fight, which leads to them both getting expelled out of their fraternity and sorority, which is a problem considering they're living there. They're living in like the fraternity house and the sorority house. I've never been in a kind of like in a sorority or something adjacent to that. So anyway, so now both of them need a place to stay and money to afford that. During the fight, they kind of got into it very bad. So they hate each other. And now, like I said, both of them need a place to stay and money to pay for it. So both of them decide to answer this ad of doing adult movies because the advertisement said that doing 4 adult movies a month will kind of pay for living expenses, basically. So both of them decide to answer that ad. And when both of them show up at the audition, they realize the other one also applied. And now they have to audition together. They have to basically have sex with each other as their audition, even though they hate each other, which of course results in like a scorching hot scene together. Both of them get hired, so now they hate each other, but they have to live together, they have to film these adult movies together. So of course, slowly but very surely, they fall in love. But I have to tell you, Colin is definitely for sure the person who falls first. She resists more because she knows that she was in the right by accusing the other person of cheating, and he constantly keeps defending his friend. Also, there's he wants to kiss her from the very beginning, and she keeps him, like, she doesn't want to kiss him. So that also like adds to him wanting more, like he wants like more intimate things with her that she's not ready for. I really love this book. This was also one of my favorite books I read in 2023. I really didn't think I would love this book so much. Like, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna have like a smutty good time, and it's gonna be great. Which it was. Like, don't get me wrong, this was hot. Like, this was hot. But I just also really love these two together. I really was rooting for them. Colin was just amazing. And I just really love this book. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. And you can read this without having read the other ones because each of them has like a distinct trope. So the first book is an ex-boyfriend's dad romance. The second book is a best friend's son romance. The third book is like an MFM. So two men sharing one woman, but the men don't actually do stuff together. Anyway, so all kinds of tropes. I read the first and fourth one, but I really want to continue on because Nikki Sloan knows how to write like smutty books. Moving on to Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. So this is definitely different from all the other ones. So this, you follow Johnny and Shannon, and so Shannon has a very, very, very horrible home life. Her father is an alcoholic and an abuser. He abuses everybody in the family. And on top of that, she also gets severely bullied at her high school. So her mom decides to pull her out of the public school and enters her into a private school called Toman University. But of course, that costs a lot of money, which their family really doesn't have. So that is like another reason for her father to excuse abusing his child. So definitely check your triggers. A lot of physical abuse in here, and it's very difficult to read. This takes place in Ireland, by the way, and I love the Irish. I just do, okay? The way they stand up for the oppressed in the world, I just can do nothing but commend them for it. Anyway, that was neither here nor there. So on the first day of like her new school, Johnny accidentally throws a rugby ball at her head, which leaves her concussed, and her mom freaks out because she's like, I put you in a new school to keep you safe, and now this bad boy threw this rugby ball at you. So she hates Johnny. But Johnny is really a sweet guy. So even though he really doesn't have time for a girlfriend, he is on his way to becoming a professional rugby player. He becomes intrigued by Shannon. He calls her Shannon like the river, and he kind of makes it his mission to kind of protect her, but also eventually, be in a relationship with her. And I would say, even though, like, she definitely also falls around the same time as him, but the way he falls for her and how hard he falls for her, how obsessed he becomes with her, just makes it feel like, for me at least, that he definitely fell first. Like, the way he's so ready to be with her and to give her anything she wants and to protect her at all costs makes it feel like that he definitely falls first. Johnny is just perfection, in my opinion. He loves her so much, and I just love the way he loves her. So yeah, but like I said, it is very sad. Like this, first of all, it's very long because this is a duology. The first book is 600 pages, and then the second book is even longer. So that is just about one couple. So I would say read it when you're ready to read a very sad book, and also when you have the time. Because once you finish the first book, it definitely ends on a cliffhanger. So you're going to want to read the second book right away. So but I would highly recommend this, one of my favorite books. Another kind of darker romance is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This is a book that a lot of people really love. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I just assumed that I was going to love it just like everybody else. That didn't really end up happening. You follow Cora and Dean, and they hate each other. So Dean is Cora's sister's fiance, and they really don't like each other. They constantly bicker, and they just don't like each other. And then I don't remember if it was during their engagement party or during like Cora's birthday. They bicker as always, and Cora ends up, so everybody kind of leaves, and Cora ends up deciding to stay, and she ends up getting kidnapped. Oh, no, wait. So she needs to get home, but there's no way for her to get home, so she ends up calling Dean, even though she doesn't want to call him. He ends up picking her up, and on the way home, they get kidnapped by this freak who kind of, his MO is get to kind of strangers or people who are kind of ambivalent towards each other, or people who hate each other, to fall in love in his captivity and then to murder them. So he does that to them too. So he forces Dean to rape her, and he also rapes her, and it's just horrifying. So the first part of this book is them imprisoned and having horrible things done to them, but also bonding over that experience. So kind of what the serial killer plan is kind of does happen because they do end up falling in love. So when they get out of that situation, kind of the only person who understand what they went through is the other one, because they are also one of the few survivors of this freak. So they really have nobody else to talk to. So that also adds to them kind of falling for each other. But eventually, and that is kind of one thing I actually didn't really love about this book, eventually Dean kind of confesses that he has always liked her. So definitely he falls first. And that, I don't know. It kind of a little bit cheapened the story a little bit for me. I know I'm kind of trying to recommend it while also saying that that part didn't really work for me. I just wanted him to kind of fall in love with her because of this event and not because he secretly loved her all along. Because then it kind of makes him a sleazy guy. Then why were you with her sister the whole time, even though you had a crush on her, you know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. Yeah, it is a very beautiful story, very heartbreaking too, so keep that in mind. And it's not very long. It's like barely 300 pages. Oop. So in my opinion, he definitely falls first. The Hookup by Kristen Callahan. This is a book I recently read, and this is a college romance. Once again, this is a football romance. You follow Drew and Anna, and the first time Drew sees Anna, he immediately becomes obsessed with her. And he kind of puts his foot in his mouth the first time. He calls her Big Red, and not knowing that she has kind of insecurities about her weight. So she immediately snaps at him and really is not interested in him. And he is intrigued because usually girls like throw themselves at him, and she isn't doing that. And they have like this philosophy class together where they also kind of banter back and forth. Eventually, she agrees to a hookup situation because she doesn't want to have a relationship with him, but she is willing to kind of sleep with him. He reluctantly agrees because he wants to do anything to kind of get her. So if that means being hookup buddies first, then fine. But it's very clear from the very beginning that he falls first. He falls so hard for her while I'm not saying that she isn't falling for him, but she definitely is doing anything and everything in her power to not fall for him, whereas he makes it clear from the very beginning that he is very interested and wants to pursue this. So this is a little bit of an older book. It came out in 2014, and it recently got picked up by a traditional publisher. So I believe the first 2 books, maybe the first 3 books are out so far. The 4th book is not out yet. I do know that because I was actually planning on reading the 4th book, but I cannot. So the last not Christmas romance is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So this book follows Iris and Roman. This is a kind of like a speculative fiction historical romance, basically. Technically, it's fantasy because it doesn't really take place in our world or in our history, but the fantasy is not that well fleshed out, so that it feels a little bit more speculative fiction. Anyway, so in this world, this very much is reminiscent to like a World War I or World War II scenario, except for the fact that it's not nations fighting each other, it's gods fighting each other, and they're using humans to fight their wars. Iris's brother has gone off to war, but he hasn't really been in contact, so she decides to contact him through this magical typewriter that she has. And somebody answers, but it's not her brother, it's somebody else. Roman quickly realizes who he's talking to, but Iris really doesn't know because they're actually rivals at the newspaper they work for. So both of them are vying for the same position. He's like a rich boy, she's not rich. Eventually, she ends up going to the front to be a war correspondent, kind of to look for her brother, and he ends up following her. And the reason I feel like he falls first is because he's the one who realizes sooner who she is. There's chapters and chapters of him knowing who he's talking to and her not knowing. So then to me, it feels like he falls first because he is more clear for him for who he's talking to. Whereas, yes, she's falling for the guy she's talking to, but she doesn't know who that person is, whereas he does know. And I feel like from the beginning, it's clear that he's very intrigued by her, whereas she kind of hates him from the beginning. So these two are very cute together. There's also a duology, and I really love both of them. What I love about Roman is that he's just like a very soft boy. And usually I read about these like more alpha heroes, and I really found it refreshing to read about a hero, Roman, because I don't know, I just thought he was so sweet. And I loved the way he loved her, and how even though he was scared, he would admit that, but he would still go to the ends of the world to protect Iris in his own way, which I really loved. And the last book I want to talk about is The Mistletoe Motive. Like I said, this is technically a Christmas romance, but I do feel like you can read it any time of year because this is really like you've got male retelling. It's very reminiscent to The Hating Game. So if you've read The Hating Game, then you might know where this is going. So you follow Jonathan Frost and Gabriella Di Natale, and they work at this bookstore. And she loves Christmas, she loves the holiday cheer, and he hates it, he's a grump. She's very much sunshine. And she feels like he's very rude to her. She also has autism, so she feels like he kind of judges her all the time. What she doesn't know is that he's been pining for her all this time. So he kind of knows the things she loves, the things that help her out in a day, and the things she doesn't like. And he kind of, behind the scene, kind of maneuvers life to kind of make things easier for her that she doesn't know about. In fact, sometimes she thinks he's kind of being condescending, even though he is helping her sometimes. And this was so cute. I really love this book. It's very short. It's a novella. It's only 185 pages, but it was so much fun to me. And I feel like it's perfect to read during the holidays because it is very much like there is a lot of like holiday things going on. But I don't know, in my opinion, you can read it any time of the year, or you can, like, if you want to do like Christmas in July, definitely pick this book up if you have not read it yet, because it's so good and it's very clear that he falls first and falls very, very hard for her. And I just really loved it. So those were all my recommendations for He Falls First romances. This, obviously, like I said, is a very common trope. So if you want to recommend me some of your favorite He Falls First romances, leave all that in the comments below. If you're down there, leave me some sort of like Christmassy emoji for The Mistletoe Motive, even though it's June right now. You know what I just realized? If you live in the Southern Hemisphere, then right now it is like winter. So maybe you can read it right now too, because the setting, at least, like the winter vibes are there. So anyway, leave all your favorite like Christmas or wintry emojis in the comments. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Or, you know, Pikachu says, thank you so much for watching. And have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.